So I just wanted to go a little bit over what the app I created does and how to approach it. If we're in the lab, I'm not sure if this will be the case, but most likely students will have to right-click on the app if they find it in the application folder, and they're going to have to open it using the open drop-down here, because on Big Sur you have to allow this to happen on other OSs. So that'll be something that the students will have to do. It'll start with like a little bit of instructions where students will just click through and they'll be told to use the keyboard to move around. You'll use the arrow keys or the WASD keys to move left, right, and then forward, backwards. The way it works is you'll be clicking on the lights once to activate them, and then once again to turn them off. If they're not selected, you'll have to click on them once to select them and then once to turn them off. Each light will kind of remember where it was. Students will use the sliders to the right there to adjust the lumen, saturation, and the hue. And students will be able to save during their time working on their lighting grid. They can save something that they like anytime, and they can then restore it to bring it back if they've made a mistake or they don't like where they're going with what they've got. And then there's finally a save and quit button, which will save the current light state so they can come back to it anytime. So this is how it'll start out. And you can see if I hit the W key, I move in. I hit the S key, I move back, and then the A and the D key, or the left and the right arrows, will allow me to move around. The reason I can see everything here is because we have the house lights on. If I turn off the house lights, you'll see you can only see the grid. So the house lights are on by default. Just mousing over any of these lights will activate them temporarily to tell you which light they are, or to show you which light are being selected, and clicking once will actually activate that light, tell you the light number, and whether it's on or off. So if I select this light, it turns that one on. Now if I click at this one again, it'll turn it off. So you can kind of see its light off. So to select this one and turn it off, I have to click once to select it and then once to turn it off. So students can do that. Once you've got something selected, it shows you the light. You can actually then adjust the lumen output. So you can kind of see that here. And you can move around and see how that's looking with the lumen output. You can then adjust the saturation of that light. So you can see it getting more and more red because it's where it starts. You can then adjust the hue to get the hue color you want. So more saturation means more gel color, and then the different hue so you can kind of see. So this is currently one light with the house light. So if you want to turn off the house light anytime, you can turn it off. And then you've got two previews on the right. One is the frontal look, and then one is to the side, so you can kind of see how that's looking. And I'm just going to rotate it around so you can kind of see how that's looking. You can go as close as you can, but I've limited it to about 3 feet from the subject, and you can see I'm just holding down the D key or the right button key so you can kind of see how it's rotating here. And again, I can change that hue because I've got that selected anytime. To select a different light, if you can't see it in the space because maybe you want to select the one right above it, you then have to kind of zoom out until you can kind of see the grid, and you can kind of see there's a light here that's kind of right above the individual here. I'm going to lower the lumens down here, and you can kind of see how that looks in the space here. The grid itself has got 6 lights on the far front, then another 6, and then another 6. And then on the sides, we've got lights on the bottom. You can kind of see here, lights on the bottom here, lights here, and then lights here. And then for the top, for the back lights, you can kind of see I've only put 2 in the back. So these are kind of like hair lights, and then 2 on the top here. But the side lights are all available, so you can kind of see there. And I'll just twist around so you can kind of see how that's looking. Right? Okay. Now if I wanted to save this configuration for whatever reason, all I would have to do is hit the save button. It is now saved in memory, so I can do something to it, like I can select that light and make it red, select this light and make it blue or something like cyan, so you can kind of see how that works. And then if I don't like what I've done, I can always hit the restore, and that's going to bring us back to this light setup here. I can even reset the lights here, and that turns everything off. But if I find that I want to bring back the lights that I had, I can hit the restore button because that was saved. And then finally, there's a reset view button that allows you to jump back to the initial view so you can kind of see where we are. I'm going to turn the house lights back on so you can kind of see how far back we can go. I'm going to back out. I added a couple of like rows of chairs so you can kind of see how that looks. And this is as far away as you can get, so you can kind of see you have access to all the lights in the front as well, and you can kind of see how the theater looks with the house lights on and then with the house lights off. Obviously, everything is way too bright, so I'm going to reset the lights here, add a couple of lights. There, that's very nice. I'm going to actually save these, and then we'll just move on. When the students are ready to finish everything up, we can talk about what you need to do at this point. Do you want a light list? Do you want just photograph? Those kinds of things. This part is something that we still have to work out. Now, if the students want to quit, you'll notice that if you move up to the top of the screen, there's no drop-down menu that says you can change the window size. So I've made this a full screen app because it needs to be full screen just based on what's going on in the lab and the computers. Anyway, in order to quit this app, the students are going to have to click save and quit. Now, once they do that, whatever light configuration is available right now in this space, so whatever they have visible is going to actually be the thing that's saved. So if they have something else saved, that's not going to be saved. They're going to actually be saving whatever they are stuck with right here. So if they don't like what they like here, they definitely need to restore stuff before they save. So if I just hit save and quit, so next time I launch that, I have to right click it the second time. They only have to do that the first time and allow it to actually function. They just click through the instructions and then hit restore, and you'll see that that is restored so that you can continue working on your light setup the way you wanted to. That's a little bit about the lighting app as it stands. And turn off the house, and hopefully we'll make any changes that are necessary to make this even better.